Hello everybody, and welcome back to Let's Play Republic the Revolution. I believe that this is episode 16. Today we will be continuing, of course, our previous activities, which include attempting to recruit the student leader Bogdan Rajinsky, if I remember correctly, yes, as well as moving the house of Joseph Nazarov. I'm hoping that through all this activity we should be able to at the very least increase his resolve. Because that is one of the major challenges that our movement is currently facing. I wouldn't call it a crisis, but it is certainly a challenge of large proportions. Looking at Mr. Nestor Kamensky right here, it appears that the Church of Novistrana has resorted to criminal activities to keep itself afloat. I honestly feel sorry for him. In the meantime, I'm wondering who I could recruit to the movement, since we need a fourth member. Perhaps we could contact our old friend Boris Filatov, or we could condescend far enough to contact Semyon Titov. Although I do not want to try that again. Now I'm hoping that this meeting will be more successful than the one with Mr. Berezin, although I'm afraid that it might fail because of the high resolve of Mr. Rajinsky, and that this way we will be unable to recruit him and we will have to turn to somebody else. Although it wouldn't be a major defeat, it would be a relatively large one anyway. Now I'm wondering, Mr. Rajinsky, he has wrinkles on his forehead and white hair. How can he be a student leader? Unless he is a professor of some sort. It all seems rather farcical, to put it simply.
Ну, может, такая прибежала, я не знаю, да собака вашу гулят, а сосед там гулит, и телефон это с душными.
Let's hope for the best with this meeting as well. I'm hoping that this one will be more fruitful than the one that we had with Eduard Berezin.
Pozos met kostrik mastage.
Now I'm hoping that this will, of course, be easier. I'm hoping that the threshold for victory on Rajinsky's part will be a lot higher than our one. We can only wait and see. Gone are the days when we could be assured of victory in such situations. He has a much lower threshold than mine, although I do believe that we have a chance at beating him. And if I didn't believe in such a chance, I can say for sure that I wouldn't be having this conversation with him right now. We're currently neck and neck. I've taken the lead briefly, although I am afraid. I'm afraid that he'll claim victory right now. And there's his victory. Our conversational skills just aren't good enough. God damn it. God damn him to hell. God damn him and all of his associates in the cartel. It appears that Edward Beretzin's resolve is already starting to fall. This bodes well for us. Although I'm wondering whether we should start to investigate the Union of Socialist Workers. Whether we should start to use our force against them. At this point, my main concern is the possibility that we will lose out. That we will start to lose members, or even worse, that we will be unable to leave Ekaterine simply because of Joseph Nassarov's low resolve. Now I can just assume that this is a press article targeted against us. Nope, apparently it's against the Union of Socialist Workers. That's good. At least there's some infighting now between our rivals. It isn't just everybody ganging up against me. I think that it might be a good idea to try and track down Ivan Prochnov again and to recruit him to our movement. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to investigate Korolyov Court and bring him into our movement once more, since Prochnov was a very useful member back when we had him. And he could be a useful member once more. Very easily indeed. After all, it was Prochnov's sound tactics, perhaps a little less humanist than our own, but nonetheless sound tactics, that can be thanked for the fact that we survived our fall, that we survived our sharp loss in popularity after the betrayal of Churbanov and Nassarov. Our position is continuing to improve, although I do believe that it could be much, much better. We shall work tirelessly to secure our position. And if all goes to plan, we shall meet with Mr. Ivan Prochnov and recruit him into our movement. I cannot expect the socialists to have an especially high resolve, in light of the fact that we have struck them down in practically every single possible area. We have come across Venedikt Markov as well as Ivan Prochnov now. And I believe that we should now gain enough influence points to recruit him straight off. More anti-socialist propaganda being printed by ourselves in the press, which is a very good sign. It shows that we have got a fighting chance. And now that we are evicting the socialists from the Kutuzov works, I believe that things are going to go very, very well indeed. We shall put up some anti-capitalist graffiti now. I never knew that you could change what the graffiti was actually about. Perhaps putting up anti-capitalist graffiti will be more welcomed by Mr. Nassarov. So we have arranged our meeting with Mr. Prochnov, the savvy salesman. If all goes according to plan, we shall be able to bring him back into the movement. And with that done, we should be able to guarantee ourselves victory in the future. Now I'm going to work to my utmost to undermine the Constantino cartel, because they are getting too big for their very own boots. The Church of Novistrana continues to work against us, though I believe that to very little avail. We have put up some more graffiti, hopefully strengthening our support. We have basically obliterated the socialists in the Kututsov works, just as we did in the Shubno industrial estate and in the Martov estate. Victory is almost certain by this point, but we can never be too sure. Now I wish that we could recruit Viktor Kovac himself into the movement. Although to be honest I'd probably regret that, seeing that he himself is a very corrupt individual. I'm surprised that he's in charge of the socialists and not the Constantino cartel. Perhaps he's just smart enough to avoid open criminal activities. The time has arrived for our meeting with Mr. What's his name? I forgot it again. Prochnov, that's it. Mr. Prochnov. Hopefully we shall bring him back into our flock, just as we brought back Comrade Nassarov all those episodes ago. We should be able to take him out of the Union of Socialist Workers for good. Now I'm just hoping that I haven't lost my game. Put it simply, that I'm still a good conversationalist, since my failure in the past two conversations was quite disheartening. It damaged my ego, it damaged my confidence, and honestly I can't just tolerate such damage on a regular basis. I'd rather not tolerate it on an irregular one either, but the situation obliges me to. Now I'm hoping that the choice of restaurant will mean that Prochnov is more inclined to join. Now we don't have too many points, to be honest. I'm just hoping that we have a low victory threshold. Because I'm getting quite frustrated, to put it simply, if at all. Because at this point, we've reached the situation where we have massive support, we have great success, but unfortunately, we do not have high enough resolve. Now our chances appear to be quite well here. We have a lower threshold in Mr. Prochnov, although it is nonetheless quite a high one. We can't let him gain the upper hand. And we won't let him gain the upper hand.
и вернется, а так и нас нашнеста, и приждуется. А я что
Crap.
сказал, а? А я
How are
не
we
сказал,
losing
да?
this way? How? Have I lost my mojo or something right here? Because this is ridiculous. We aren't persuading anybody. In spite of the fact that we have high resolve and high charisma, our movement is stagnating, and I am quite frustrated with it indeed. How can this be occurring? How can we be losing ground like this? I thought that we were successful. I thought that we were powerful. But now, it all seems in vain. So screw it. I think that rather than trying to take members of other movements away, we are just going to go for our old childhood friend, Boris Filatov. We will bring him into the movement, whether he likes it or not. Fortunately for us, the Constantino cartel has started to fall back. Our measures taken against them have been largely successful, and this is a very good sign. Our dominance has certainly been asserted. So I'm going to recruit Mr. Boris Filatov. We'll have champagne and caviar as we discuss the terms on which he is willing to enter the NPRM. This is honestly something that should have been done a very long time ago. Nasarov's resolve appears to be falling once more. Although I really don't care anymore. It can fall as much as he wants it to fall, because at this point, if he leaves the movement, we'd technically be better off. We'll get Mr. Baturin to continue to consolidate our hold over Morozov Manor. We certainly have more than enough influence points to get this done. And I can tell you for certain that we will get this done quite simply. We will remain the dominant faction in the city. This much cannot be questioned. But we need to gain ground. We need to increase our level, to increase our strength. And so we are holding another meeting. The 4th meeting in about 2 episodes. It is, however, necessary. I'm hoping that this one will be a far greater success. I'm hoping that this time we won't be disappointed like the others, because I am getting sick and tired of it all. I personally have great trust in Mr. Filatov. After all, my character has been a friend of his for many years. And by virtue of his low level, I believe that he will be easier to recruit. And this will, at the very least, make this episode a success in my eyes. Since up until now, it has been quite a disappointment. At the very same time, recruiting Filatov into our movement will once more restore the balance between different ideologies, between different points of view.
Позосметир, кострик мастарша.
Let's see how it all goes down.
То що можеш?
Now we have an infinitely lower threshold for victory than Mr. Filatov. He has 70 and we have 31. Victory seems almost assured, but I cannot be too confident in myself.
Ах, да, да, вождушта побеждала, и кто рыжное, конечно-то.
The first round has been going quite well. We are pressing onwards quite successfully indeed. We are on the verge of victory. We're 1 point short while he is 35 points short. It would be impossible for us to lose at this point. And so I was right. We have successfully recruited Boris Filatov into the Novi Stranen National People's Revolutionary Movement. A magnificent success, and one that will hopefully bring our movement forward. One that will guarantee our success as we prepare to leave Ekaterine behind us. A good and welcome development indeed. We'll whip out the contracts that we always carry somewhere on our person, not to be specified, and we'll pass it to Mr. Filatov to be signed at a probably later date. It's probably just waiving us off of any responsibilities related to insurance and so on. Anyway, although it was an expensive luncheon, it was a successful one. And the Union of Socialist Workers in the meantime is also continuing to lose ground at an increasing rate. We shall dispatch Mr. Filatov on his first mission. He shall put up posters in Voronezh fields, and this way he shall gain support for our movement. Nazarov probably deserves to rest, and so we shall give him a brief rest until tomorrow morning. After that, however, it's back into the political trenches. I like to think that we are now back on track. The only thing hindering us at this point is the low resolve of Comrade Nazarov. Although this, fortunately, I believe can be changed. Now, Eduard Berezin is apparently writing articles against the NPRM now. This is irritating, to put it very, very lightly, very, very simply. And our position in the town centre is now being assaulted. Magnificent. Isn't that just great? I don't mind. I really don't. Mostly because we are still a very powerful movement, one that is capable of achieving practically anything. And so we shall march onwards, in spite of difficulties. We shall ignore those who threaten us, and we shall strike down those who we feel threatened by. The Novi Stranen National People's Revolutionary Movement, the NPRM, is as strong, if not stronger than ever, and so we shall continue down this triumphant path in the very next episode. If you are enjoying the series and if you've enjoyed this episode, do not forget to leave a like and a comment and to subscribe to my channel. I have been the Nerd Gamer, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye for today.